Hello, America. We are your cocky bastards, as you know. Good to see you again. We've been out a couple of weeks. Sort of been doing some renovations to the studio. As you can see, we're in sort of a makeshift studio right now. But we're here for you. We missed you the last couple of weeks, but I don't know what else to say about that.
Glad to be back. And South Carolina's coming off a 2-game winning streak. And we're going to touch on those first 2 games real quick. First, trade at UMass. South Carolina comes out, gets an expected win against University of Massachusetts Minutemen, 34-28. And that was Jake Bentley's first start. Played pretty well. Defense got slack late in the game and gave up a lot of yards that they probably shouldn't have. I think the offense was pretty conservative in that game. They didn't want to show too much with the Tennessee game being the next week. And it was an expected win. It was good to see Bentley play as well as he did.
Yeah, and we also want to keep things simple for Bentley, I think, in his first start. We sort of expected a victory. Cut it close at the end, but, we pulled it out. So that brings us to the Tennessee victory last week. Very, very big program.
Huge win.
Program-defining win in a lot of ways, Zach, I would say. This is a signature win of the Muschamp era. Definitely, I think it sort of shows our program turning the corner and heading a new direction. We played with a newfound confidence. Bentley looked fantastic, and Williams-Brice was live, and I think we did just enough to beat the number 18 team in the nation. So it's pretty big. The Alaskan Bullworm, though he tried, didn't have what it took to scare us into submission. So I think Rome was burning a little bit. I think things aren't looking so good in Knoxville, but we've been saying all along it was only a matter of time before they had a meltdown, and I'm glad that we could be the start of it.
Yes, Ray, it was a huge win for South Carolina. It's probably their first complete game. Well, it was their first complete game of the entire year. Defense played really good, held Tennessee in check all night. And then offensively, we already touched on Jake Bentley. He played really well, completed 75% of his passes. Huge game from the big 3 freshmen, and Brian Edwards, Rico Dowdle, the running back, and obviously Jake Bentley. And then Debo Samuel continues to play well over the last few weeks since he's been healthy. And all in all, it was a great team win. Like you said, it was a big win for Will Muschamp and a big win for a lot of the young guys to get some success and show that all the hard work this offseason, all the hard work, the tough losses they've experienced earlier in the year is paying off, and they learned from it and got a big win over number 18.
Yeah, so we go from, in 2 short weeks, go from being 2-4, really down in the mouth, looking like this is going to be another disaster of a season, to really having some hope, sort of expecting to win a bowl now, and, thinking maybe we can surprise a couple of, Florida or Clemson, a couple of the good teams we have coming up to play. So that brings us to this week's game. We're going to play Mizzou, and, continuing the storyline from the last 2 games, really probably one of the biggest factors in this game is going to be the quarterback play from Bentley. It's going to be his 3rd career start. Luckily he's going to be at home again. That'll play in his favor. But, I got to say, he showed tremendous poise against the Tennessee rushing attack. They reached him 6 times, 6 sacks, but he still stood in the pocket, really didn't throw in any bad coverages. Like you said, he completed 75% of his passes. Those are great numbers for any quarterback, but especially a true freshman in his 2nd game, first SEC start. That was big. And I look this week for him to come out with the same poise, same preparation. I don't think he's going to let the media or all the talk about how great he could be get to him. He's a guy that seems to appreciate the game. He appreciates how he needs to prepare. He came in prepared last week and came up big against Tennessee, and I look for him to do the same against Mizzou this week.
Yes, it's a huge game, probably the biggest game of the year for South Carolina, to see how they handled this success of a big win last week against Tennessee. Went against a struggling Missouri team. They're 2-6, 0-4 in the conference. And it's a game South Carolina's expected to win, probably should win fairly easily. But we'll see it. This team is made up of a lot of young guys. We start the most freshmen in the country, most true freshmen in the country, and 7 guys. But I'm interested to see how these young guys handle success. They got everybody on campus, all their family, their friends telling them how great they are after that big win last week. And let's see if they can maintain that and keep their focus this week in practice and translate it to the field in a game that they should win and propel us to a winning record this year.
And to sort of build off that too, Zach, I think they're getting a lot more love from the media than they've gotten this whole season. I think pretty much every game we've been expected to either play close or lose, and this is probably the first time we've been favored, except for maybe UMass or East Carolina. This first SEC game, for sure we've been favored to win this, but also how do they respond when the media is actually on their side? And so another big storyline coming up in this Missouri game is just, how do we contain Drew Lock? DJ Smith, as we know, he got a targeting penalty the second half of last week, so he's going to miss the first half of this game. We already have a thin secondary, and, with one of those guys out, that sort of gives Drew Lock an opening to maybe do some damage early in the game. Missouri's a little banged up. They're playing a lot of freshmen too, but Drew Lock's a guy who actually has had some good stats this year. He's played well in certain games, certain situations. He doesn't really have the guys around him, but he is a good player. Beat us pretty soundly last year. I mean, we made him look like he was going to be a Heisman contender the way we went to Missouri last year. But so I think he's really going to be a big factor in this game too. How does our secondary respond to him? How do we get some pressure on him? And how do we shut him down? I think a big key is if we can keep him from completing some passes, then I think we win this game.
Drew Lock's a very good quarterback that you can see glimpses of watching Missouri this year of what they can be. They got a new offensive coordinator, obviously a new head coach in Barry Odom, so they're trying some new things offensively. But they have some pieces in place that as these guys become upperclassmen, that should lead to some success. Yeah, get some pressure on Drew Lock, forcing him into some tough throws, collapsing the pocket on him will be big in this game. And it's something I think South Carolina should be able to do with the pass rushers they have. And Darius English, I think Jonathan Walton had a good game last week. Got a couple sacks or a couple tackles for loss, and yeah, it's a big part of the game. And yeah.
All right. So that brings us to our X factors and score predictions. So Zach, you want to tell us about what your big X factor is for this game?
My big X factor for this game is Mason Zandy, left tackle for South Carolina.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, it's a guy that struggled a bit. He's playing out of position. Obviously, he should be a right tackle, but that's where he's at. That's the card he's dealt. He did a pretty good job last week against Derek Barnett, future first-round pick in the NFL, and this week he's going to face Charles Harris, another great defensive end in the SEC, a guy that doesn't get enough publicity probably since he's on a struggling team, but he's one of the best pass rushers in the country, so they're going to move him around the defensive line to create some matchup problems for us. He's going to be lined up against Mason Zandy the majority of the time. How Mason Zandy responds to that, and if he can give Jake Bentley enough time in the pocket to go through his progressions, complete some passes, and I think the offense should be pretty successful with going against the struggling Missouri defense on Saturday. Score prediction is 31-10 South Carolina. Same score as when South Carolina beat Missouri back in 2012, their first year in the SEC. I think it's a game South Carolina's going to win pretty easily. South Carolina controls the majority of the game. Missouri gets a late touchdown and makes it not look as bad as it was. And they go to 5-4 on the year and 3-4 in the conference, heading to Gainesville next week.
Nice. For my X factor, I'm going to say, Rico Dowdle. We're going to lean on him a lot this week. Last week he had over 100 yards against a pretty good Tennessee defense, and I think we're going to need the same kind of performance from him again this week. I think if Rico gets 100 yards, if AJ Turner has about 80 yards or so, that should lead us to victory.
And it's, I don't mean to interrupt you, Trey, but it's an interesting matchup here. You got the worst rush offense in the conference in South Carolina versus the worst rush defense in the conference in Missouri. So it's a battle. It's a battle that should be interesting. I think South Carolina's going in the right direction since they've got Rico Dowdle going.
For sure.
And then Missouri, they're pretty banged up on defense. Lost Terry Beckner Jr. for the year a couple weeks ago to a torn ACL, one of their best defensive linemen, and also lost one of their starting linebackers. So it's a matchup, I think, that favors South Carolina. Like I said, with Rico Dowdle and AJ Turner. And Dave Williams is playing better as of late.
Yeah, it's been great to see that, actually. When he's gotten out in space a couple of times, he's looked pretty good. So, yeah, I look for Rico to have – I think if he had a breakout game, it was definitely last week. But I look for him to have, if there's such a thing, another breakout game and really make a statement against this Missouri defense and show that, even though we struggled in the run in the first half of the season, that the second half of the season is really going to be an asset for us. And with that, I'm going to say final score is going to be 34-17. I think, like you, I think they'll get a late touchdown, make it look a little closer than it was. But I really look for, Jake Bentley to open it up and for us to get over that 30-point hump one more time this season.
Another guy I'm looking forward to seeing play for South Carolina is Chris Moody. He's going to be starting in place of DJ Smith for the first half. And look for Drew Lock and this Missouri offense to take advantage of that. I think Tennessee did once DJ Smith got ejected last week. Their last touchdown they scored was over Chris Moody. So I hope he has a good game. He's a senior. He only has 2 more home games left in his Gamecock career. So curious to see how he plays in this start.
Right, and whether or not he steps up, that can be big once again, whether the first half stays close or not.
Yep.
But yeah, like you, Zach, I think we come away with a, not an easy victory, but a good victory, and we're well on our way to a bowl game and ready to surprise either Florida or Clemson. Hopefully Clemson, because
Hopefully both.
Yeah, because then we'll comfortably be 8 wins and
Yep.
not having to shave our head.
Yep.
But I called it at the beginning of the season, America. Zach called it too. We both said 8 wins and one of those wins over Clemson. And people thought we were crazy, but it's looking more and more likely every day. With that, we're going to close the show. Brings us to Rapper of the Week.
Bum.
Hadn't really thought about this, Zach. So
You always say that.
but let's see, who have I been listening to lately? It's getting towards the end of the season, so I'm starting bringing out some of my heavier hitters. We talked about some underground guys before, some guys who maybe aren't getting as much love in the game these days. But I got to bring up Yeezus. Yeezy, that's my boy. Love that dude. A lot of people don't like him, Zach, because he's a little brash. He's a little arrogant, and a lot of people don't think he has room to be arrogant. But I sort of like it. It's a different kind of swag. It's a different kind of way to approach the game. He's ridiculous and over the top, but some people would say I'm the same way. So I think in a lot of ways we're kindred spirits. He's a great producer. Produced hits for, started out producing hits for Jay-Z, and worked with everyone sort of in his middle period. And now he's gotten a little more out there, a little more artsy, if you will. The Life of Pablo, his latest album, was very sort of patchwork effort. Some songs halfway done. He famously put it out on Tidal and sort of let the fans see the process. Some of the songs changed from the initial release to today. He was still tweaking things live on the streaming service. And then, of course, he released the album before that was Yeezus, which got really mixed reviews. He brought in a lot of house influence, a lot of electronic music type things that rap doesn't usually see. But I really personally, it's a personal favorite for me. I think it's a very concise album. A lot of these rap albums, Drake will come out with albums 20-something songs. Eminem's albums are, a lot of rap albums are right at 20 songs. This was 10 good songs. You can get through it quick, but every song packed a punch. And I think that's sort of something, you see it more in rock music, but it's good to see that in rap music. So, like I said, a lot of people don't like Yeezus, but I'm a true believer. I think he gets it in a way that a lot of people don't. So that's my Rapper of the Week, and I think I really look for him for his influence to carry us in this. I really look for his influence to be a big factor in this Missouri game. Yeezus once famously said, "F you and your corporation. Y'all ninjas can't control me," and that really speaks to me on a personal level. I think maybe if Bentley's heard that lyric, or if it's echoed through the locker room a time or two, I really see that playing into us being Missouri and sort of getting into Drew Lock's head. So that's it, America. That's all I got to say. Gamecock Nation, we appreciate you. We're back. Yeah, sorry we're gone for a couple weeks. Hectic. Trying to fix the studio. We're a little busy, but we weren't giving up on you. We knew we were going to beat UMass. We had a good feeling about Tennessee. Been calling that one all year. I really hate that I wasn't able to, have an episode about the Alaskan bullworm, Butch Jones. But don't worry, he'll be retreating back to the Arctic soon.
And that'll do it. Next week we will be here. You can guarantee that.
Yeah, tweet that,
recap
that, whatever.
Exactly. Recap the Missouri game, and then Will Muschamp's return to the swamp.
Like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Send us some fan mail. Stop by the house. We're having a barbecue. I don't know. Whatever y'all want to do, we'll be there. Break into the practice facility with some 40s and whatever.
I'm down for whatever.
Yeah. So until next time, we are your cocky bastards.
Spurs up. See you.
Go Cox.